Our global business editor, Udayan Mukherjee, joining us now. Udayan, markets today taking a bit of a nosedive. Do you feel this is nervousness ahead of those tech earnings or something else, perhaps continuing to see the overall macro scenario weighing heavy? What do you feel are the triggers that the market is responding to?
I think you're right, Abha. I think there's a little bit of nervousness ahead of the earnings this time around because one gets the feeling that this time the earnings season will not be that great. It's not that it will come as a surprise to the market because I guess most investors know that the last quarter was not exactly great. So we might have a fairly lopsided kind of an earnings picture because there is some global slowdown. Commodity prices had gone up quite a bit in the previous quarter, and you will probably see it reflected in the margins of many companies. So we might easily have a very lopsided kind of an earnings quarter this time, where some of the commodity companies might deliver very good numbers, and that may lift the overall Sensex and Nifty earnings. But I think many companies will probably disappoint on their earnings front, and that is something which the market is cognizant about and probably even a little nervous about. What we need to see at the end of April and beginning of May is what is the extent of earnings cuts expectation being brought down after this quarter, and that might determine where the markets end the month of April. As such, I think the last couple of weeks have been remarkably well behaved for the market. We had a massive pullback all the way up to 18,000 plus for the Nifty. And from there, the market might have felt it's got a bit ahead of itself. And we've seen some of the steam blowing off with the Nifty losing about 300-400 points from the top. And I think it's doing the right thing going into the earnings slightly light because the market does appear a little overvalued on the kind of earnings expectations we have at this point in time. So right now, the market is consolidating. But I think it should not come as a surprise if there's a bit more downside as we wait through this earnings season.
So I want to talk to you a little bit more on that because everyone here is really wondering and questioning whether or not all this talk of recession is legitimate, and what your take on this is. Are we heading in for a global recession? What that means for India and Indian markets? How soon will it come? How badly will they be hit? That seems to be on everyone's mind.
It's absolutely difficult to predict all these things, Abha, and they're mostly usually figured out in hindsight. But one thing is for sure, that there is sluggishness in the global economy. Whether it's a recession or it's a temporary slowdown, we'll find out later. But I think it is best to work with the assumption that we are going through some heavy waters over the next few quarters, globally speaking. That necessarily does not mean that that should spark off a bear market. But what it does mean is that one should be probably not exuberant about earnings expectations, and particularly for many of the global facing sectors at this point in time. Now, whether stock prices are factoring in more than what this global sluggishness should actually determine, that is difficult to say. But my own sense is that markets might be slightly ahead of themselves in terms of pure fundamentals and valuations. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the course of the next few weeks and months, we drift down back to those 17,000 or sub 17,000 levels once again on the Nifty. These are notoriously difficult predictions to make, but I think it's best to be aware of the risks that you just highlighted, that we are probably wading through a period of sticky global economics macro over the next few quarters.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.